If you are currently listening to any realtor telling you that the current real estate market is great after the rate cut that was announced in June, he is probably misleading you in some sort of way because it never came back the way most sellers want it to be. If you have been following me in the past for my previous videos, I'm not too optimistic about the market coming to rebound anytime soon, especially about the inventory situation. In fact, I will be breaking down the inventory situation in Toronto for the freehold and condo markets, as I've actively helped a client sell their condo and acquire their home in Etobicoke. Hey, welcome back to another video on the AV Team Real Estate channel. I'm Antonio and I am a local real estate agent in the GTA. If you have been enjoying the weekly video from this channel, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you can be shared with more people who want to get updated on the real estate market in Toronto. Greatly appreciate it. If you have any inquiry about the real estate, don't hesitate to contact me via the first link in the description down below. Let's take a deeper dive into the Toronto real estate market today. As the new June market data was just released from the Toronto Real Estate Board, for me it wasn't surprising that the sales were down from a year ago, although most people would have predicted more momentum going stronger since there was a rate cut. In context, I just wanted to remind you that last year in 2023 was one of the lowest sales in history for 14 plus years. And to recap, so far this year, even after the rate cut, we are worse than last year in terms of sales activities. That could pretty much tell you how bad the current real estate market is. The official sales number from the Toronto Board for June is 6,213, and last year the same month was 7,429, and we are talking about negative 16.4% down from a bad year in 2023. If we compare that to last month in May sales at 7,013, we are down minus 11.4%. No matter how you put it, it doesn't look good. Now let's take a look at the new listings for June, which were reported as 17,964, up from last year's same month 15,995, which is up 12.3%. However, the active listings was up the most. June was reported at 23,613, and last year the same month was 14,108, which was not low to begin with, and we are up 67.4%. This is a big concern with lower sales and incredible amount of active listings. No wonder we have a tremendous month of inventory throughout Toronto. Before the rage and keyboard warriors come to say that it's the beginning of home prices will come down significantly when sellers and investors struggle. The prices should come down and discount property should be on the horizons. Unfortunately, this will only mean that there are fewer sales and sellers are just simply going to hold it out while buyers will keep trying to lowball and see if they could get a better deal. However, the numbers do not lie, and as a result, the average price in the GTA was only down 1.6%, down from 1,181,002 to 1,162,167 in June. This is such a small amount, which means pretty much it is flat. Again, from my past video, I repeatedly mentioned between freehold and condo market are quite a differences. I could confirm this from the experiences I went through with my client that helped her sell her condo in Downsville and then help her acquire a freehold detached home in Etobicoke, Toronto, and it is really night and day in terms of demand. The more accurate way to look at the market is by looking at the month of inventory. Credit goes to Scott Ingram from X. This further proved the market for freehold and condos. This data were updated on July 1st, and to recap, as a general rule, if the number stays low under 4 months of inventory, that is considered a seller's market, and anything between 4 and 6 would be considered a balanced market, and anything higher would be an extreme buyer market. Basically, this number means the number of months it takes to get it, also assuming there are no new listings enter the market. This data is for 416 areas in Toronto, and on the left you find freehold, and they are categorized based on popular price ranges. For instance, freehold between 500 and 749,000 are currently under 1.1 month of inventory, so you can expect pretty competitive prices in between these price ranges, since it is the most affordable entry range for first-time home buyer. No surprise, between 750 and just under a million is at 1.4 months of inventory. And then as we move up, it is more than 2 months, which is still relatively competitive. And we have as much as 5.9 months of inventory in the extra luxury market between 2,500 and 2,999. And finally, above 3 million, we have as much as 9.1 months of inventory, but we shouldn't count them as this is an exceptional price range. However, overall, the month of inventory for freehold is at 2.9 in July, and it is still a seller's market for the most part. Now, for the condo, we could expect a much higher month of inventory, starting with the lowest price range between 100 and 300,000 is 2.6 months of inventory, but we should expect a low inventory in this price range and 3.5 months of inventory between 400 and 499,000. The most popular price range should be between 500 and 599, and also between 600 and 699, and both are close to or about 6 months of inventory. That means that condos are technically on the buyer's market, and that pretty much confirms what I see on the market. I made a video for my client about how I managed to sell my client's condo in the sea of many on the market in a week, but it all came down to the seller's expectations. If the seller doesn't have the right mindset and study the market, the property could be on the market for a long time. If you move on to the higher price range for condos, we could see basically about 6 months of inventory and an average of 5.8 months of inventory. That is almost twice the freehold market. That is a reason why the condo market struggled the most currently. To give you a better understanding of how the condo and freehold market was in the past, let's take a look at another excellent piece of data from Scott Ingram that demonstrates the month of inventory in 416 from 2020. The green line represents the condo month of inventory and the black line represents the freehold month of inventory. If you recall, 2020 is the pandemic and it was a somewhat unusual year. The condo market was not great and reached about 3 months of inventory, and the freehold market was low in supply since everyone was restricted to being home and forced to work from home. By the end of the year, the freehold month of inventory had gone below 1 month, making it extremely competitive, and the home prices skyrocket. Once the market reopened in 2021, the month of inventory for both the condo and the freehold went below 2, which has been on the seller's market for most of the time, just like in the past decades. Until 2022, inflation was uncontrollable, and we all know about the rate hike that happened, and the month of inventory started to climb to pandemic level in 2020. However, we also noticed the freehold was always lower than the condo. We also had a fake rebound during 2023 when the Bank of Canada held the interest rate and everyone was rushed to the market. But it didn't last long until the Bank of Canada raised the interest once again and the market tanked again. And the month of inventory for condos reached almost 6 again, while the freehold market was around the 3-month inventory mark. So far in 2024, it seems we're going to have a worse year than 2023 and not look great. The month of inventory reflects the actual real estate market pretty closely, and I hope this graph could give you a visual and easier representation of the current market. In the Toronto real estate market, most sales at around 70% were typically done during the first half of the year, and the remaining 30% were made in the second half of the year, mostly during the fall in September, and kind of died down during the winter and the holidays. It is safe to say now that this year in 2024, although we have the first rate cut, we are going to be worse than last year, which already have been a bad year. I am quite active in the market, and I do have a handful of sellers that want to sell their properties based on their situation. But here is what I see on the market that could resonate with you if you are contemplating selling your property too in the second half of the year. Sellers will be leaning towards listing the property for sale in September if it is not already listed on the market. It will make sense, especially since the next interest rate announcement will take place on July 24. Whether the Bank of Canada chooses to raise hold or cut further would be a factor in the fall market this year. Regardless, sellers will still need to sell for many reasons I mentioned in the past that could include not being able to carry on the mortgage, renewal of the mortgage, relocation, or maybe moving up sellers that already bought. But for the most part, the fall market would be the ideal time for the seller. However, I will also suggest some that could try to list it during the slowest time of the year in the summer, since the fall could also turn out to be worse time because it really depends on what the Bank of Canada decides to do with the interest rate. On the other side, buyers will have been away during the summer because they might have gone away for vacation with the families and pay less attention to the real estate market. But there are also buyers that are shopping for deals because there can be fewer sellers listing on the market, and for some buyers, they think they could negotiate better with the seller with much less competition. Bottom line, for those sellers that align with the market price, usually they could find a buyer. And from the buyer's perspective, I've seen deals everywhere in downtown where a studio unit is in the main core and within walking distance to many universities or work as low as $400,000. Some 2-bedroom units are in the 600s, but as long as you spend time looking for one and find the right seller who really needs to sell and move on to the journey, this is really an unusual time for real estate. One thing we could learn from the past 4 years is that overnight interest rate really influenced the real estate market a ton. Not until we learn what the Bank of Canada plans for the future can we really tell in the short term how the market will trend. I hope this video could help you understand better the current real estate market, and if you do want to discuss your situation, don't hesitate to contact me using the first link in the description below, as I have many conversations with viewers who have some tricky situations. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.